As I awoke that day in 2047, feeling a soft glow of my gamma-ray heat transfer blanket, I peer down at my pet cricket Minerva, who moves with anticipation as I reach for my arthropod shell semiconductor nanoglove. I test my 4 robotic fingers per flesh finger. I gently stroke the head of Minerva. Nanodust sensor technology sparkles on all living surfaces. Networked together, nanodust maps animal and insect brain activity. Massive collections of this smart dust create a dynamic MRI and CAT scans, which are sent to a data cloud. With these tools, humans have analyzed and broken down interspecies communication. With smart dust accelerometers and cameras, we discovered the rich interactions of all species at all scales. The massive amounts of data were analyzed in strategic ways, comparing insect, fish, and human brains. In 2014, humans had a breakthrough and now better understand how pheromones affect animal, humans, and insects. Scale was not an issue anymore in seeing micro and nanoscale matter, and as we look further into the nano world, we discover a molecular and genetic love puzzle. Attractive van der Waals forces create exquisitely complex molecular embraces. These are now understood to be an expression of time and molecular wisdom. We learn living systems are far more symbiotically intertwined than formerly thought. Smart dust coupled with inference engines open a new window into understanding insect and animal. Communications have changed as our heads-up display force feedback phoneuters map experiential data space and create instant extended video overlay memory records. The phoneuter with instant recall and multiple modes of augmented display allows new forms of data analysis and cross-data visualization. This proved to be the key tool in understanding the true interconnected complexity of all creatures, large, micro, and nano-small. Even fresh carrots, a favorite dish for many, were not as easy to eat, knowing they sent out crude chemical distress signals when cut or boiled fresh. Now we use a manufactured spray that helps to anesthetize veggies before cutting, and this stops them from spreading their distress signals to others. Humans have also discovered that slowly freezing vegetables causes a form of suspended sleep, also preventing distress. Most humans now have a better understanding of animal behavior and also now understand the complex behavior that even plants can express. While augmented displays were now as common as radio waves, so too were robots living and working in our environment, and not all was a panacea. The qualia bots oversaw all human action in the workplace. I was productive working on neural net designs, though not as productive as the younger bots that had already surpassed our wildest dreams in being able to replicate challenging physical and intellectual labor, though the one thing they could not yet do was ask higher questions. Still, once we asked the questions, they were often able to synthesize and beat us to the answer with the latest genetic algorithmic logic chips with parametric statistical methods. Most unnerving, the qualia bots displayed a subtle but also subliminal production of that day's goal as augmented streams of statistically computed ideal worker actions mapped over my seeming inaction. I was feeling pretty happy as I reclined at my desk, until I noticed a new worker robot, the toy I2, standing in the reception room waiting to be interviewed by my boss. She was sporting a tight pink suit, and as I looked beyond my desk and began to move toward her on my way to lunch, I traced my eyes from her feet up her molded body, amazed at how my own work on neural nets is part of her evolution, her artificial skin both soft and surprisingly fleshy. I wondered to myself if applying my knowledge of neural networks was the correct choice in being part of creating such an exquisite machine. Could she be here to interview for my position? Robots have already surpassed our wildest dreams in being able to mimic, read, and manipulate our emotions. She stares back at me, changing the color of her eyes from brown to bright blue, and she reads my eye gaze, knowing I find her attractive as she emits a subtle pheromone spritz from her next-gen lips, and I do or cannot resist. As I depart for lunch, entering the elevator, air sniffer jets, which identify human hormonal activity, already know I am feeling a bit sad, thinking my job may be on the line. Inside the elevator, the push button injects me with a subtle, imperceptible aeration of mood-enhancing epinephrine, an adjustment I am not aware of, though I now feel happier. As I look over the menu at lunch, I feel strangely happy. Inside my cells, nano-mitochondrial bots designed to assist mitochondria in ATP production send a neural impulse that I may be better to have olive oil rather than butter. The mitochon bots also prefer olive oil, given oxidative stress, so I choose the salad with olive oil, as if it was my choice. Suddenly, my phoneuter rings, and I say hello to my daughter. She has just turned 12, entering college to focus on nanotubular scaffolding in support of microchips placed in metamorphosing insects. She says, "Daddy, can we talk?" Our conversation warms in discussing bottom-up, self-constructing Buckminster fullerene carbon nanotube buildings, and how much I love her as I choke back a feeling of a lifelong anxiety in allowing my daughter to be given birth in a robotic incubating unit. In our new data and physical space, it has oft become difficult to distinguish our emerging robot races from our own, as they have long ago found comfortable places among and with humans. We now inhabit them, and we have become their co-evolved innards, and they our shiny shells. For many humans, machine relationships were now common and also considered a chic choice. We have become the thinking mitochondria, and our evolved machine shells make our cities feel somehow greener or grayer. The cool color and machine analogy of ecological symbiosis has become gray. We need our gray companions. We need to grease their joints when their self-maintenance firmware does not auto-update. Long-term sustainable ways are here with our new artificial ecologies. As anaerobic bacteria receded to our own stomachs 2 billion years ago, so too we have receded into our machines and feel as one. It was a surprise for many that we could power them with our feces, a waste stream that used to be discarded and is now the perfect ecological necessity to keep them powered.